I'm Susie. I'm 14. I'll soon be 15. I've been sitting under the door of my lover's apartment for half an hour now. But he won't open the door. He tells me to go away. But I love him. I know I do. But we won't be together. Because he's my stepfather. What am I supposed to do with that? Listen to what happened to me and help me with advice. For as long as I can remember, my mother and I have always lived together. My dad left when I was just a baby, and my mom raised me on her own. But we were very happy with her. My mother had me early, so by the time I started high school, she and I looked like we were nearly the same age. Men often looked at her, but all the attention my mother paid to me. But somehow, after I got back from my grandmother's winter break, I noticed something had changed. Mom began to talk to someone in her room for long evenings. She took better care of herself, and one Sunday night, Ted came over for dinner. Mom introduced me to him. He told me he loved Mom and wanted to marry her. I was frankly very happy for her. But I definitely didn't like Ted. He was silent, moody. What did my mom even like about him? I couldn't figure it out. A week later, Ted moved in with us. And it turned out that his reticence is just a defensive reaction when he gets acquainted with new people. After some time, he changed. There was constant laughter in our kitchen now. Ted had a great sense of humor. He repaired the kitchen cabinets that had long been barely closed, cleaned up around the house, and always greeted me from school with a smile. And with a hot lunch. Yes, Ted was also a fantastic cook. And since he worked remotely, he did a lot of housework, which helped my mom a lot. I came home one day. It was quiet. I thought Ted was gone, so I quickly ran up to my room on the second floor, and I ran into Ted. He'd just come out of the shower. There was a towel wrapped around his slender torso. He apologized and quickly walked into the bedroom. And I looked at him differently now. I was starting to like him as a man. Ted was athletic and fit, and didn't look like his age at all. You'll know what happened next in a minute. For now, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. And make sure to click the bell so you'll know when there's a new video on the channel. And compared to the guys I'd already dated, he was perfect. I had dated 2 guys since high school. But I didn't last more than 2 weeks with both guys. Stupid jokes, weird hookups. I didn't like any of it. And Ted was so romantic. He often bought my mom flowers or some little gifts. Cooked delicious dinners. And I started to get jealous of him for my mom. I used to look at myself in the mirror for a long time, and I realized that I was much more attractive than Mom. Then why couldn't I be with Ted? The school year was over, the vacations began, and Mom announced that she was going on a work trip for 2 weeks, out of state, and that Ted and I would be left to fend for ourselves. I was happy. Here was my chance to get his attention. First, I decided to surprise him with my culinary prowess. I surfed the internet, watched a lot of videos, chose the 10 most, in my opinion, interesting dishes. But, as it turned out, I have neither talent nor sense of proportion. I had to throw lasagna away, because it turned out hard as a brick. The Hawaiian chicken burned. I forgot to turn off the oven on time, and the smoke filled the house. I was so upset. I curled up in a corner and started to cry. Ted tried to calm me down until I screamed in my heart. "I tried for you, Ted. I wanted to surprise you. I wanted to make you a nice dinner and—" At that moment, Ted understood. He understood why, since my mother had gone away, I was always putting on makeup and styling my hair and wearing short skirts and trying to surprise him with dinner. He sat down next to me and started explaining that I was like a daughter to him and that he loved my mom, that I'm still young, and soon I will meet a guy I like and for whom I would cook a gourmet dinner. But I didn't want to hear that. I ran to my room and locked myself in. I fell on my pillow and cried. 2 days later, my mother came back and Ted told her everything. Mom called me in for a big talk. She started to explain things to me, but it was no use. I didn't want to talk to her. Ted packed his things and left. Mom cried for several nights, but I didn't care. I wanted to be with Ted. I found out where he lived and I tracked him down. And here I am, Susie, soon to be 15. I've been sitting outside Ted's apartment for half an hour, but he won't open the door. He tells me to go away, but I love him, and I don't know what to do about it. What would you do? Write to me.
Hi everyone, I'm Linda. I live in California, and my stepmom is a real monster who wants to destroy me. But let me tell you the story from the beginning. My parents divorced when I was 10. They managed to stay on good terms. Monday through Friday, I lived at my dad's house as my school was across the street. It was very convenient, and my mom rented a place in a different neighborhood. I was hanging out at her place on the weekends. Everything was perfect until my dad got married again last year. That's how I got a stepmom who also had a daughter my age. At first, my stepmom didn't pay much attention to me, as if she didn't notice me. She was courting my father, but that didn't last long. Soon she began to burden me with various household chores. When I came home from school, she'd be waiting for me in the living room. Wash the floors, wipe the window sills, vacuum and clean the kitchen cabinets. When I tried to protest, she threatened to tell Dad that his daughter is lazy and doesn't want to help around the house. And I didn't want to upset Dad. His health hadn't been all right lately, so at first I silently fulfilled all her whims. Meanwhile, her daughter was lying on the couch watching shows or playing on her tablet. My dad was coming home from work very late, so he never saw me being exploited all the time. On the weekends, I was finally relaxing at my mom's house. One day, I couldn't take it anymore and I complained to her about my stepmother. And Mom, in turn, talked to Dad about it. I thought that now everything would change, but it was just the opposite. Before I continue, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And make sure you click on the bell so you know when there's a new video on the channel. After hearing all that from my mom, my dad gave his new wife a hard time. I could hear them arguing from the room in the kitchen and I gloated. The next day, when I came home from school, I realized that something had changed. My things were packed in 2 suitcases. They stood in the hallway, and my stepmother blocked my way upstairs and pointed her finger at the door. "Get out! You don't live here anymore." "You have no right to kick me out of here. I'll complain to Dad," I protested. "Your father is in the emergency room, all because of you. Get out of here," and she pushed me out the door. I went to live with my mother. It was awfully inconvenient and long to get to school. I had to walk through an abandoned area through the woods, and when I was coming back after school, sometimes it was very scary because it was already pretty late and dark. Dad was still in the hospital. The doctor said there was something wrong with his heart, and they don't know how long he will have to stay there. My stepmother and her daughter live in my father's house. They renovated it, and it is clear that no one is waiting for my father there. And I feel so much guilt. It seems to me that I'm the one to blame for this horror. If I had not complained to my mom, then my dad would have been fine. What do you think? Did I do the right thing? Maybe I should have kept quiet and wiped the floors clean every day. At least Dad would have been healthy. Write to me and tell me what you think. I'm looking forward to it.